Hi, I'm back with another video, and this time it's about, I don't know if I've done the librarything.com. I've been doing that for the last however many months, and I have not won any books. It's one of those, it's like the rest of them, it's like a review, it's like, review, keep track of your books, what you've read, what you want to read, that kind of thing, like all of them. And then, of course, they have the free books that you can win. It's early reviewer books. And so I accidentally found it. I'm not sure how I found it when I was on the search engine, but I found it. And I decided to go ahead and try it out. And so I finally figured out what I needed to do to win a book, or try to. So every month they do their early reviewers books. And so they have a long list of books. You can get them in paper, physical copy, digital, and I'm not sure if there's anything else. And then they have, so you can click on their little thing that tells you all, I guess it's all, like all of them, like all the free books you can get. And then you click on which one you want, like the physical copy or the digital copy. And then it'll pop up and it'll show all the books that you can get in that category if you just want to bypass all of it. And then there are some of them on there that are not for your country. Like there was one time I think it was like 2 books. I think there might have been another time might have been 4 books that weren't in the U.S. And so then you just go through and you can read. You can click on each one and find out more about the book. Or you're like me and you just go through and you just look at the covers and go, you know what? I think I'll go ahead and see. And then you just click request, and then at the end of the month, you find out if you won a book or not. I can't remember what day it is. The 27th? I think it's the 27th of each month. You find out if you won a book or not. And I don't know if it's the same person for everybody, or, like they get a certain amount of people and then, the person tells you. But this one woman, I always get her. She always sends me a little message, tell me how sorry she is, that I hadn't won. And to try again next month, and that they've got a whole bunch of books coming. And then they started sending out a notice with them saying to make sure that you update your how many books you can win, because before I think it was like 1 or 2. Now it's up to 4. I'm not quite sure how you get the 4, and I don't know if it's including the 3 books as well. But it was like when I clicked on it to see where I was at, on the 1 or 2, and it said, so I was like, I clicked the 4, and it said, yeah, I think you had to be approved. So I'm not quite sure what you have to do to get the 4 books, or even the 3. I didn't check and see if you had to be approved for the 3, so we'll just assume you do. But I went ahead and kept I think it's 2 books. It's 1 or 2 books. I think it's the 2. And so every month, like I said, I click on it and I go through and I pick out what are books that they have, and then I wait to find out. And so since I started, I hadn't won any. And so I started thinking, well, maybe I should review some books on there. Maybe, get a little more active on it, because I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know if you just entered and you got the books, or if you had to be really active on there. So I decided to start trying to be a little more active. And she suggested that same thing. And I wrote her back and said that was kind of what I was thinking. So I went on there and can't remember if it was into March or beginning of April. I started clicking on different books that I wanted to read, or books I already have that I want on other sites that they have on there that you can review. And then I started clicking those, like I want to read them, and then the ones, like I said, I don't have yet, I want to read. And then I clicked along and I'd gotten into like the horror books and the scary books, so I started clicking through some of those. And then all of a sudden I found like R.L. Stine's like the Fear Street books. I used to love to read those back when I was a kid and a teenager, and for years when I was a teenager, and then even as an adult, I kept trying to collect as many as I could. So I have a whole bunch of them in storage, and like almost complete set series of each one's complete. There are a few of them that I don't have like the fourth one or the fifth one, because all of a sudden I found out there was a fourth and fifth one on some of them. But I had read a lot of those, and my very first one I bought was from Walmart when they still had them in stores, in the main stores. And then I started not seeing them again, and so I was like, oh, I guess they don't sell them anymore there. And then that's when I started finding them at the thrift stores. So that's when I would pick up a bunch of them when I was in the thrift store, the ones I didn't have. And even the original, was it the original copy I bought? I think it was the first one I bought when I bought it at Walmart. I loaned it to someone, and then for some unknown reason they let someone else read it, and then it just disappeared. So I ended up having to go to the thrift store to find it. So I found that in the thrift store, so I got my original copy back. I was very disappointed because it was like, oh my gosh, I bought that at Walmart. And so when I saw that R.L. Stine's books were on there, I was like, ooh. So I clicked on one of them I knew I had read, because there's so many of them that I had read, I couldn't probably go through all the whole entire probably listings they had to mark them. So I went on there and I marked that I had read the book, and then I wrote a review saying that I had read almost all the books, that I had almost all of his books, and that I'd been collecting them over the years, and so I really enjoyed his books. And so I really did love those Fear Street books and all the Fear Street series going along with them. And so when I started, like I said, being more active, all of a sudden when the end of April got here, April 27th, I got a notice telling me, April 27th or 28th, I got a notice telling me that I had won a book. And I was like, ooh, what book did I win? I won this one, by the way. And I was like, ooh, I won a book. What book did I win? And so I was so excited. I was like, yes, I finally won one. And I went to find out what the book was, and it was this one. The Malarkey Strumpet Master, a novel by Zeb Beck. I was kind of like, okay. So this book is about this guy who goes to, I believe it's Mexico. I believe he goes to, he crosses the border to Tijuana. I knew he was going to Mexico. So here it goes. It says, every weekend, Gilmore Crowell crosses the border into Tijuana's red light district. He's not there for sex. He's there to save his failing academic career. Gil's can't even say that word, study of Tijuana streetwalkers had his desertion advisor cheering him on, but that was years ago, before his best sources up and vanished. Now, with no connection to the sex worker community, his research has stalled, and faculty elders are about to kick him out of the grad program. Plus, he's broke. He takes a job teaching at a juvenile detention center. The steady income gives him the means to keep making his weekly trips across the border. He's sunk so low that he's paying the girls just to speak with him. In a sudden movement of insight, he realizes that giving them something besides cold, hard cash could help him forge a new inroad to the community. But do they want what he's offering? So when I saw this, I was like, oh, so that's the book I want. I didn't even realize I clicked on it. I kind of found that interesting, and then when I was reading it, I was like, oh, okay. So I have not read the book yet. I need to read it. And this came in with it. I'm not sure if this is a sticker or just some kind of little paper. But when I opened it up, I was like, oh, there's a little thing in there. I mean, it does sound interesting. I mean, the guy's not looking for, sleeping with people. I found that kind of interesting, that all he wants to do is talk to them. And so I'm kind of read it. I'm just kind of holding off on it, kind of thinking, it was definitely different than what I thought, than what I normally would read. So I thought that's kind of interesting. And it's from Broadly Reviled Books. And it's currently out. I think it said it came out in February, I think is what it said online. And so this is the Malarkey Strumpet Master, Zeb Beck. If you're interested in that, or if you're interested in librarything.com, like I said, it's like all of them. It's just a reader review website. You go on there, you review all the books you read, You pick out all the books you want to read. Like I said, and then you can do the early reviewers if you're, like I said, you got to make sure you get active on there, as I found out. So you can maybe win one. And like I said, I don't know how you get like the 4 books, but they started putting that out there that they had more books that you could start winning more than just one. So I won one, so maybe in the future, maybe I'll win 2. And so, like I said, I need to read this book so I can review it so that I can get maybe some more books that normally I wouldn't get. Like I said, if you're interested in the book, here it is again. So thank you for watching. Bye.